Well, now that I've mostly moved into my new house, this van is really just a hotel room. It's pretty great. A hotel room with a kitchen. The time has finally come for me to tell you the story of what happened to me in the pandemic. Walmarts were closed, the state parks were closed, and I didn't have anywhere to be other than Florida. So I rented a house with a pool. I signed a lease, a year-long lease. No, I didn't stay for that long. I wanted to live in my minivan. That was the dream when I'd moved into it 6 months earlier. When I realized that my summer job, giving tours in Chicago, was not going to be available during the first summer of the pandemic, I knew I'd have to find a place to live, a place to work, and some kind of community that would accept me in the midst of a new pandemic. And I did manage to do that. I found a place to live in a beautiful suburban home with a swimming pool and a cool retired roommate, Rick. But it really freaked me out. I didn't want to live in a suburban home. I didn't want to live in Florida in the summer. I didn't want to live in a pandemic. That's why the swimming pool was a non-negotiable. If I was going to be stuck in Florida for the summer, I needed to have a swimming pool. For my sanity. And I found work at the grocery store equivalent of a high school cool kids table, the meat department.
All right, baby.
That's right, I became a butcher, or at least I tried to. They wouldn't train me on actually cutting meat, which is why I eventually left. I only lasted 4 months. But working at the grocery store was an important part of my sanity. I met a lot of interesting people. I was the first person people had seen after leaving their house after 2 weeks. I called myself a meat therapist. I will be forever grateful for the friendships that I made at the grocery store during the pandemic. It was really worth it. And it kept me afloat financially when I wasn't working my normal job. But like for many people, the pandemic was really hard on me emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And it's hard to describe how much I feel like I lost my sense of self. I had this idea that I was a van lifer. Suddenly I wasn't. I had this idea that I was a tour guide. Suddenly I wasn't. I lost my job, my lifestyle, my community, all at once. I also thought I'd never live in Florida again. But not everything was bad. One bright spot, Turtle. The little tortoise shell that used to hang out by the swimming pool, a stray cat, and my new friend. She wasn't being taken care of by anybody. Eventually, I bought her a collar just to see if people would call me. They never did. She may have been getting fed, but she had no better place to be than with me. She made it pretty clear. And we spent a lot of time in that backyard together. And it was a huge, huge comfort for me. Eventually, when I moved away from this house, I checked her microchip and I found she had an owner. And I took her across the Sunshine Skyway Bridge up to Largo and dropped her off with her dad. And I still miss her. And then came the accident that changed everything for me in a major way. My minivan got totaled. I was driving for a hike on a day off. And Get this, how Florida is this? A 90-year-old driver on her way home from a hearing aid appointment ran through a red light and didn't exactly T-bone me. It wasn't at high speeds, but she hit and totaled my minivan, and it completely sent me spiraling. I felt like I'd lost everything already. My job, my friends, my community, my way of life. And then I lost my minivan. I can't believe it still makes me emotional because I can look back and laugh at it now. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I recorded some wonderfully embarrassing #emotional content for you guys. So for the sake of posterity, me in the minivan. You can tell I was going through some because look at my haircut. This is the last time that I'll be in this van. It was officially totaled yesterday. I love this van. The floor that I put in, the window covers I made. No more work will be going into this van. It will be taken apart and eaten by other vans. This van gave me so much. It took me on the road. It took me into a pandemic. Thank you. I love you. Just me and all the other Costco daddies filling up our SUVs here. With my rental, I finally fit in at the Costco gas station. My van got totaled. This is the rental they gave me. It's a luxury SUV. Infiniti GX80. It's big. And look how I'm using it. Of course, I was lying down on my lunch break at work today. I guess I'm gonna buy a Prius, which is what I wanted when I moved into the van. I've never gotten a car loan before. It's something that really scared me, but I know I can handle it because I'm a grown woman and I can take care of business. But it's been fun playing around in this SUV. Like, I don't think other people's lunch breaks look like this. Next, it was my turn to learn that buying a car was a huge mountain in my head. And beyond the red tape, it was actually a very attainable goal. I'm back at the credit union already. This is like way easier than I could have hoped for. Hey! That's the seller, Gary. I got something for you. A $9,000 check. Car's mine, but I'm not even driving it home. I am taking the rental back. The sellers were so kind. When I told them that we might have to postpone to Friday, they said if the bank tries to hassle me, they would loan me the money. I think they just really liked me. Thank you, Gary and Mary. I'm touched by the kindness that I experienced from the seller of a vehicle. Just amazing. Everything worked out fine. Whoa, dude. I'm driving my car for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording video. Hey, not a bad camera angle. How do I look? It's hot. Climate. I feel like I'm a homeowner. It really did feel like I bought my dream house. It was my daily driver, And eventually I did move into it full time. Basically, the moment the vaccine was available, I moved out of sticks and bricks and back into a car. Hello, hello. I'm Becky. Today I'm quitting my job. I don't have another job lined up. But what can I say? My inner voice is screaming at me that I don't want to do this anymore. And it's literally Independence Day. Of course, one of the first things I did when I got the car was I installed rain guards, the little awnings over your windows so you can leave them cracked overnight. That and a pea jar is basically all it takes to turn any car into a camper. The other next steps were getting the windows tinted and putting in a little quote-unquote subfloor, which was just a fancy giant yoga mat, which I cut to the shape of my back seat to protect it. And that's about it. I didn't really document the process of moving into the Prius. I had already done that before. The point of my van life vlogs were to document a big experiment, trying something new in my life. And you know what? It worked. It was fun. Minivan life was for me. It was for a season and then it wasn't. These days I'm in and out of sticks and bricks, although at the time of recording this, I'm living full-time in my car. So everything changes. Nothing's too big of a deal. If you want to try something, just do it. As for me, I'm doing okay. Thanks for caring. Thank you for tuning in as always, and thank you for watching my every few months videos.